Trump is using classic leverage to dictate what he wants to see happen in the Middle East, which is investment, tech, peace, no more boots on the ground, no more American boots in the ground in the Middle East, no more going to Iraq, no going to Iran. And he's using that leverage playbook in his negotiating experience to trap countries and leaders of countries to be able to gain favor and to put America first.
The Middle East never sleeps. That's why we turn to our good friend Aaron Cohen. He's a veteran of Israeli special operations and one of the world's leading experts on counterterrorism, intelligence, and urban warfare. He's trained elite units, worked inside the toughest conflict zones on Earth, and brings a unique, no-nonsense perspective you won't hear anywhere else. He's also the host of The Aaron Cohen Show, where he breaks down global threats, cultural warfare, and what's really at stake for Israel, America, and the free world. Aaron, it's always great to see you. I wish it was under better circumstances. We had this terror attack in Washington, D.C. last night. You've been monitoring this very closely, Aaron, really for years, the threats against the Jewish people, including right here in America. What are your big takeaways in the wake of last night?
Well, Eric, it's always good to see you, my friend. Here's where I'm at with this attack last night in D.C. This shooter didn't meet some Hamas recruiter in an alley. He met an algorithm, is how I frame it. This guy, as like many of all of the chaos and individuals we've been seeing over the last 2 years on these college campuses, was likely radicalized online. Let me explain what that is. This is what we refer to, excuse me, in the counterterrorism space as fifth-generation warfare, Eric. This is where influence replaces explosives and where ideology replaces orders. And these embassy staffers, in my opinion, this wasn't just an attack on two individuals who were slated to get engaged. This was an attack on the Israeli government. And here's what that means. There are serious diplomatic and security implications in wake of the fact that this was a government type of strike. And even though it was conducted by an individually radicalized lone wolf, the psychology is very significant, which means that he was attacking the nation of Israel. This is an attack on the Jewish people. And this is what I've been saying for the last 2 years, which is, if you continue to allow this rot to fester on college campuses, and if major platforms continue to allow Jew hatred, you're going to have a natural escalation into this violence. I give credit to the FBI and the DOJ, but that's where I'm at right now with all of this. What we're seeing here is the systematic hijacking of algorithms by America's enemies, Iran, pumping the anti-Semitism. And this isn't hacking, Eric. It's hijacking. That algorithm rewards rage. It rewards chaos. And the more that chaos spikes online, Iran takes that and uses it to drive anti-Semitism. Hamas uses it to drive anti-Israel propaganda. Russia uses it to divide America from within. And China uses it to just continue to destabilize us. And our enemies are attacking us, Eric, without ever having to fire a shot. This psychological warfare through the algorithm is the #1 threat.
Wow. Aaron, great breakdown all around. And this was sadly, I hate to say it, inevitable, I think, what happened last night, because they'd been pushing violence for years, the incitement, the Jew hatred on college campuses, in the streets of the United States. Could this, Aaron, be a turning point in that regard? Is this the ultimate wake-up call for people now? The Trump administration, very serious about this, of course. They've issued statements already, vowed to get to the bottom of it. But could this, God willing, be the turning point?
Here's where I'm at with that, Eric. It's a very smart question. I believe that this was inevitable, and I believe that we are going to see only more escalation. I predicted this violence 18 months ago. You and I have spoken to this. This only gets worse. And when you've got millions and millions of devices like these cell phones in the hands of kids starting at 13, that algorithm, again, fueled by China, by Iran, by Hamas, by America's enemies, are able to infiltrate the minds of kids through that algorithm. And so this is only going to escalate because nobody's taking away those cell phones. And so it's only going to get worse. It's going to continue to escalate. And like you mentioned, the FBI, my hat's off to Pam Bondi and the DOJ. They came out right away. They're taking it very seriously. And I believe they're going to throw the book at this guy. There's no question in my mind. But here's my bigger question, Eric. How many more like this guy are being built in the dark corners of the internet right now? Eric, here's what I think needs to happen. We need to start applying the Israeli methodology to our law enforcement because the threat has evolved, but our ability to predict threats has not evolved. What's going to prevent the next attack and what I'm actively working on right now is I'm actively out to CTOs and investors to put together a system to detect threats. And I'm calling it AI-powered domestic threat platform is what it is. It's an early stage radicalization detection system that, if designed and built properly, can be put out to schools, to law enforcement, and used on social media and digital places to detect the threat before it actualizes. And I think that this is the evolution that U.S. law enforcement needs to make in order to be able to deal with the emerging problem of the hijacked algorithm by America's enemies. Eric, Trump is using classic leverage to dictate what he wants to see happen in the Middle East, which is investment, tech, peace, no more boots on the ground, no more American boots in the ground in the Middle East, no more going to Iraq, no going to Iran. And he's using that leverage playbook in his negotiating experience to trap countries and leaders of countries to be able to gain favor and to put America first. And what he did with Syria, which was basically say, look, you're going to get in bed. We're going to let you in the door. We're going to allow you to stay the leader of Syria. You're going to quietly shake hands with Bibi. You're going to join the Abraham Accords. And what that does is it opens up the economy for Syria and the ability for Syria to come into the first world economies and to flourish. And Syria has been in the dark ages for the last decade since their war. Syria gets rebuilt. Israel has quiet on their northeastern border. And it isolates Iran. It isolates Russia. And so the signaling is tremendous, and it continues to push, again, Russia and Iran into a corner, which is going to force leverage onto the Ukraine war and create quiet there, because Putin's going to realize that he's losing Syria, which is where the Syrian president is now hiding in Russia. And then with Iran, it forces Iran to say, hey, maybe it's time to slow down the proliferation of our nuclear program and not get to weapons grade fission and centrifuge capabilities, because we're being isolated as well. Trump's pulling the entire Middle East together, Eric. He's pushing Iran into a corner. Yeah. And Iran knows if it doesn't have the fear of nuclear capability, then Iran becomes a cowering little puppy in the corner. So I think he's working it brilliantly. Yeah. Curious to see how it's going to play out. Meanwhile, we got how many billions of dollars in investment, $1 trillion in investment. Yeah. America's coming first again. Israel's in the front lane with America, providing the intel is needed as America's forward operating base in the region. I think it's fantastic.
You mentioned Iran. We have a new round of talks tomorrow in Rome. At the end of the day, do you see these talks bearing any fruit, or is military action really inevitable when it comes to the regime?
I think they're going to have to bear. I think they're going to have to bear fruit, and I'll tell you why. Israel's got the keys to the file for every nuclear site, hidden, non-hidden, and Israel can strike Iran's nuclear facilities, Eric, like that. Iran knows it. And if Iran wants to avoid having any energy capability completely wiped off the map. They're going to have to talk, and they can posture and play tough and signal in front of Europe, which is what Iran is really good at, playing tough to the Europeans. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Trump is the leader of the free world, and if you don't get in bed with his leadership, you're going to get stuffed into such an uncomfortable corner that you're going to have an economic failure that you could not comprehend. So I think Iran's quietly going to have to get in line.
Wow, God willing. Incredible breakdown, Aaron. What a time to be alive, my friend. Thank God we have you on the front lines. Folks, check him out on the Aaron Cohen Show. Right back at you, my friend. The Aaron Cohen Show. We're watching YouTube, X, across social media. Stakelbeck Tonight, my all-new nightly series on current events through a bold biblical lens. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload, and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching, and God bless.